So we're going to address the tactical part of serving. So I wanted to show you what it looks like from the receiving side. I'm in the deuce court receiving a first serve. My server is going to practice serving A. A would be a fat, flash serve out to the outside toward the alley. So this is A. You can see the A ends a little bit short of the corner in the court because you want to pull the player wider. B, into the player's body. We mentioned in the body is a great serve because you jam the player up, forcing him to move away from the ball to try to hit it. C, up the center. That's usually to the opponent's right-handed backhand, which is a good shot. It also means the return is going to come from the middle of the court. There aren't quite as many angles coming back to you either. Because you moved him over in the center to return the serve, that's going to open up options for you after you serve to open up the court again. So we're looking at A, B, and C as your options for serving. And I'm going to show you how important these are when you start choosing the direction, the depth, the spin, and the speed. So we've kind of mentioned the ABCs of serving here. We're going to show you kind of when would you choose to use these and what kind of percentage of time would you serve to alley, body, or center. For example, on a first serve out wide, it's a great shot because it's going to pull my opponent off the court, open up a lot of court space into his backhand if he's a righty for my next shot. The challenge off the wide ball is, first of all, getting it in at a high speed because it does land short. It's shorter than the single sideline and the service line, so it's a little bit shorter serve. It also opens up lots of angles for them returning. They can hit the ball hard down the line to my backhand, opens up the cross-court angle against them, and I am serving into their strong side probably because most players hit their forehand a little faster than their backhand. That's for singles. If I'm playing doubles, when I serve to the alley, it sets up my net man to have to cover the alley, which means he has to kind of leave there, which means I now have 2/3 of the court as a server and the ball coming back. So I have to kind of choose when I'm going to serve wide. If you're playing doubles, I'd suggest telling your partner when you plan to serve wide so he knows to look for the ball out wide and isn't surprised by a sudden serve out wide going down his alley. I usually try to start the match off, singles or doubles, serving into the body. Because we know that usually the players aren't really warmed up yet. It's the first game. We've hit a couple practice serves. So my best shot is hard into the body with my first serve, forcing my opponent to move away from the ball to try to hit it. To his forehand or his backhand side, either way, as he happens to get caught. This is great for doubles because usually it causes a weak return, which lets my net person be more aggressive about poaching. So practicing serving a lot of serves early in the match in your first service game up the center. Once I've got the center established, then I start moving the serve out to the center. And that's into their backhand. And we all know that the backhand return in the deuce court is probably the most challenging of all the shots to return because you're hitting the ball inside out in doubles to keep away from the net player, back into your opponent's forehand, who now has opened up the court for a wide return. So I have to be careful in how I choose my ABCs as to what my opponent can do, what kind of ball I'd like to hit next, and where I also feel more successful serving. A great choice of serves, again, is mixing it up. Don't let them get a pattern. But starting off, hard into the body, they can move away from the shot. If I'm playing singles, I get a lot of weak returns laying around the service line that I can attack off of. Secondly, maybe going into the center again, looking for weak returns and making the ball come from the middle of the court so there aren't as many angles coming back to me. Most players try to cover up their backhand because they love hitting their forehand. You'll find them starting to cheat over a little bit to cover their backhand. Guess what that does? Opens up the alley now. So it's important as you're serving, if a singles player, that you start to recognize individually on your part, what patterns am I hitting? So if I had a choice of serves to hit, I'd probably hit, say I had 10 serves to hit, I'd probably hit 2 serves up the middle, okay? Maybe 4 serves up the center, and the remainder of my serves I would go outside and surprise, trying to mix it into a combination. Now, how do you get good at this? Okay, it's all good theory, but how do I get good at that? Well, there's something you have to do called practice. And I would suggest practicing like we've done here. Mark your court off. You can use tennis ball cans, you can use a racket bag if you like, but something that lets you measure, and that's the key to making this work, is you measuring the results you're trying to get. Using your continental grip for racket acceleration and be able to tactically perform the skill you want to do. So mark it off so you can measure it and see the results of your shot. How often do you have to practice? It's very much individualistic. How fast do you catch on to things? Are you trying to change your grip and perform tactics at the same time? Or do you already have the grip? You're just going straight to tactics now. We mentioned a while ago there's 5 priorities. Did I get the ball in play? Yes, I got it in play. Now I have to control the direction. That's my A, B, or C. Now I have to control the depth. Is my serve landing short? Well, it's going to probably land shorter on the wide ball, so I can get the ball in the court and pull the player wide. I might serve deeper up the center and definitely deeper to the player's backhand, but I can also serve shorter too. So the ball has a little shorter landing point, which makes it have a different kind of receiving point where they receive the ball differently. So now I'm talking about the depth of the shot. And what's really cool here is, remember, even on a first serve, you can hit a slice first serve and hit it very fast. So I might slice the ball going wide to make the ball curve more away from my opponent. The spin I get on the slice serve also helps to bring the ball down into the alley zone and pull them out wide. A slice serve into the body is awesome because it comes in toward the backhand, curves toward the forehand. And if I move away from it too far, I'll find myself reaching with my body going the opposite way. Or if I choose to play a backhand, I may find the serve coming into my body and jamming me up. And the slice serve up the center looks really cool because it's the one that everybody calls out, because it looks like it's going to land really wide, but then curves in again with the right-handed slice. We've all seen how the lefty does that in the ad court. Well, the righty can do the same thing in the deuce court. So I've got different spins I can add. What about my top spin? We've talked about keeping your continental grip for racket head speed to get a fast acceleration across the ball. Now the bounce of the ball, because I'm serving wide, I can serve a higher arc over the net to go to the alley, because now the player is going wide and high. That's probably the weakest position you can be in. It's high and wide at the same time. Great serve to pull the player out wide with. Into the center, I'm moving away from the ball and it's high. Very awkward position to play the ball in again. And we all know how tough it is to play a high backhand return. So by changing the top spin serve, I'm going to bounce it higher to keep it out of their hitting zone. And we're talking about first serves here too, not necessarily just second, but being smart with your first serve besides just going for speed. And most players think of first serve, it's got to be fast. No, it's got to be in with the right direction, the right depth, the right spin, and finally the last speed. So we all know that players expect first serves to be pretty fast, right? Because it's going to be your best first serve. So I change up the speed. Like a baseball player, I throw a curveball on the first pitch instead of a fastball. I hit the kick serve on that first serve. Then I slow the ball down a little bit. The change of pace is very effective. I can serve hard up the middle early, and then all of a sudden throw in a slow ball out wide. Watch it kick up high out of their hit zone. So remember, as you do your tactical priorities now, consider, did they get the ball in play? Did you control the direction? And there's 3 directions. There's 3 depths. I can hit it really deep, medium depth, or even shorter. The 3 spins, the slice, the top spin, and kind of a flat ball. That's less spin ball either way I choose to hit it. And of course, the 3 speeds, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Reminder, level 3 is hard as you can hit it without missing. Level 2 is your medium speed ball. Level 1 is your ugly ball. You've all seen that little soft off-pace serve like a Fabrice Santoro might serve on the Pro Tour. It works good for him. It'll work good for you as well.